Great. And because I did this in a rush, I've not set the most flattering angle for the camera, but hey, let's just go with it. I'm not looking if you're not. So I'm going to choose a cross-leg position, but I recognise that that's not comfortable for everyone. So if you prefer, you can come to a wide leg posture. If you need to, you can always pop a little cushion underneath the bottom. Just be comfortable, that's the most important thing as we begin. Let's find a lovely plumb line from the back of the head through to the tailbone, imagining that you're almost leaning back against an invisible wall. And we'll take a moment to just turn the palms up towards the ceiling, resting the backs of the hands against the inner thighs. If you're happy to do so, we'll take a moment to close the eyes. And we're just going to take some time scanning the body from head to toe in this seated upright position. So normally we do this scanning when we're lying on the floor. What you might notice is that those areas that you perhaps hold a little tight or perhaps feel a little less flexible to you might be starting to give you a little bit of feedback, particularly in and around the hips, the inner thighs, perhaps the lower back. So consider how you can lengthen and strengthen using the core, inhaling to lift out of the sit bones, gently rolling the shoulders back and down, ensuring the back of the head lines up with the back of the tailbone, the underside of the chin parallel to the floor, bringing your awareness to the breath, taking the breath a little deeper than our typical top third of the lungs. Inhaling to fill the lungs completely, exhaling to empty the lungs fully. Again, focusing on the breath in a seated posture rather than laying back feels like a little more effort. So consider expanding through the back of the rib cage, lifting the weight of the ribs off the belly. And as you exhale, avoid the temptation to slump and release the shoulders again. Think of inhaling to lift, lengthen, exhaling to soften and widen. Take one further full breath rotation in this seated posture. Then allow the breath to become a little noisier, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One further full deep breath in, releasing now with an audible sigh. Take a moment to blink the eyes open. And if we find that we're feeling really gripey in the inner thighs, in and around the hips, let's take this moment to just switch the leg crossover, opposite foot in front or behind, or otherwise adjust your seating position so that you feel a little while. Now there's two of you who've frozen on me. Oh, you've come back. That's weird. That was really odd. Maybe you were just really concentrating. Inhale to squeeze the shoulders up. As you exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. Another inhale to lift the shoulders. Exhale, squeeze the shoulders back. One more full revolution here. Lovely. Now we're going to take the hands away from the knees, from the inner thighs, and bring them onto the shoulders. We're now going to use the elbows to draw 3 wide circles. So we've still got that action going in the shoulders, but we're widening it through the pectoral muscles into the sides of the ribcage. One full rotation again. Then as you take the hands off the shoulders, bring them behind the lower back to create an interlock here. Draw the shoulder blades together, draw the tummy button in, then as you exhale, just slide the hands away from the lower back. So we're trying to avoid pushing the chin forward or leaning into this position. So think about lifting the arms up, perhaps aiming to get as high as that bra line if possible. As you exhale, release, bring that interlock to the lower back, separate the hands and extend the arms forward. Again, finding that invisible wall, that plumb line from the back of the head, press through the fingertips, keep those shoulders nicely released away from the ears, then bring the palms together. I'm going to start with right forefinger over left, then turn the hands inside out. Let's keep those elbows soft, keep the core engaged. As you inhale, start to lift the arms up overhead. Now, I remind you sometimes this takes 2 or 3 full breath rotations to come to the full length and space in the shoulders, pressing through the palms, lifting a little more out of the sit bones, keeping that core engagement. As you exhale, gently draw the hands back to chest level. Turn the hands inside out. And this time we're going to stack left forefinger on top of right, repeating the same action, turning the palms inside out, keeping the shoulders released, the core engaged as you float those arms overhead. Pressing through the palms, releasing the shoulders back and down. You'll have noticed this starts to create heat through the upper body, particularly into the core. So work with the breath to keep cool here. On your next exhalation, slide the hands back to chest level. Separate the hands and widen the arms. Bring the fingertips in towards the palms, thumbs up, shoulder blades drawn together. We're coming into ego eradicator pose. So remember, this is a great leveler, this posture, because it starts off looking quite easy, but because of the tension we're putting into the palms, because of that action of drawing the shoulder blades together, remaining lifted and lengthened out of the sit bones, it actually feels quite active. So again, we're using the breath to cool down here, inhaling through the nose, releasing through the mouth. And for the full breath rotation, now open the fingers wide, give the fingers a little wiggle, mobilise the wrists by drawing little circles with the hands, then change direction, take the circles back, and I'm being cruel now because the shoulders are on fire. Let's give ourselves a hug. So bring the arms in, one arm over the other, taking a moment to just pat this shoulder, to pat behind that armpit. As you exhale, gently lower the chin towards the chest. And just allow for a moment that additional release through the centre of the shoulder blades. As you inhale, mindfully lift and lengthen. Return the back of the head parallel to the tailbone, then open the arms wide again. On the next out breath, take that hug, the opposite hand on top. We'll include a little neck mobilisation here, keeping the underside of the chin parallel to the floor. Turn to look over one shoulder, bring the head back to centre, then turn to look over the other shoulder. Bring the head back again to centre, then separate the arms and let the shoulders release and relax. So most of us have tried to sit in this cross-leg position, so let's give ourselves a break from that, widening the feet. Ideally, resting on the backs of the heels, toes pointing up in flexion position, lifting and lengthening out of the sit bones, then taking a little gentle walk forward. Think about lengthening as you lift out of the sit bones, Then as you exhale, start to fold the elbows towards the floor. So we're creating space in the inner thighs. Again, thinking about avoiding rolling the head forward, keeping the shoulder blades drawn together. It might feel more comfortable for you to slide your hands out and rest the hands on top of either the shins or the ankles. Again, an inhale to lift and lengthen. We might take an exhale a little deeper and perhaps see if we can bring the hands to the soles of the feet, to the big toes, whatever is comfortable for you. Every out breath, easing a little more deeply into this fold. Inhale to draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale to find a little more space in this posture. So we're quite exposed now in the lower back. So rather than any quick movements, we'll just replace the hands under the shoulders, wide through the chest on an inhale. On an exhale, draw the tummy button in, then inhale to lift back to centre and walk your hands in. Lovely. Bring the soles of the feet together, back to that in and around the hips, inner thigh section. So exhale to soften and widen the knees. Inhale to draw the knees up. Exhale to widen. Inhale to lift the knees together. One exaggerated widen again, keeping that lift and length out of the sit bones. Then on the exhale, engage the core. Take hold of the right foot, push through the heel. And if it helps for balance, take the opposite arm out so that you feel centred out of the sit bones. You want to avoid rolling back to the tailbone, that will feel uncomfortable. And really focus on pressing through the heel, just to get a little more stretch into the back of the hamstring, back of the knee. Bring that foot back to centre, switch over, same action on the other side. The supporting arm wants to stay in line with the shoulder. We don't want it up here, that's just a little bit too high. Press through the heel. Keep lifting the weight of the ribcage off the belly. Then bring that foot back again into centre. You know where you're going next. Keep the core engaged. Press through both heels. And you're finding that perfect fulcrum for balance here. Shoulders rolled back and down, pressing through the heels. It's very tempting to roll backwards, but we're going to keep the faith. Then on the out breath, bring the feet back to centre again. So we're now just gently resting the hands to the outside of the toes. We come back to this butterfly position. Inhale to lift. As you exhale, hinge forward. So same action as we did when we had the wide leg fold. It's a little more challenging in butterfly. We tend not to be able to get quite as deep. Every out breath, just nudging the weight of the upper body towards the floor. Keep the core engaged, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift, come back again to centre. Perfect. Let's take the right leg out. I keep switching which is the right and the left, but don't worry, you know. Bring the left foot to the inner thigh, lift up and lengthen. We want to try and keep this right toe pointing up towards the ceiling in flexion. Let's position the hands either side of the bent knee. So there's a moment where we need to lift again, do a gentle twist. Then as you exhale, we're folding forward once more, bringing the belly to the thigh, bringing the sternum towards the knee. And we don't want to rush too fast. Ideally, we want to keep that right sit bone on the mat. If you lift it too high, we're just cheating ourselves of the benefits of that stretch to the inner thigh. Push down into the palms, lift the chest, gently rock back again to centre. We want to rotate to bring the shoulders back to centre, then widen the opposite leg, bring the opposite knee in, keep that nice alignment, lift, twist, hands either side of the bent knee, As you exhale, hinge, hinge, hinge. Other way, Rosina, yep. Over the bent knee. Perfect. Belly to thigh. Oh, I can't quite get the sternum to the knee because my bottom has started to naughtily lift from the floor. So work to just that edge of discomfort. Push down into the palms, keep the core engaged, and walk the hands back to centre. Once more, bringing your shoulders to face forward again. Lovely. So I'm now going to invite you to take a lie down on your back, but rather than coming into an extended legs lengthened posture, can we keep the knees bent? So we'll come into a supine position with the knees bent, the hands either side of the hips, and particularly for anyone who felt those last postures quite rough on the lower back, this will give you a chance to let go of that tension. Feel the weight of the upper body resting against the flats of the shoulder blades. Feel the weight of the hips fully resting into that flat bone above the bottom. Feel the connection through the soles of the feet, and just allow the hands to rest either side of the hips. Visualise the breath once more, inhaling to widen through the chest, exhaling to draw the tummy button in. Then inhale to lift and lengthen through the right leg. We're going to start in a point position. Then as you come to flexion, we're drawing the toe in towards the shin. So inhale to point, exhale to flex. Inhale to point, exhale to flex. Come one more time to flexion. Keep the bottom on the floor. Try not to push into the left foot and press a little more keenly through that right heel just to develop the stretch to the back of the hamstring. We'll now take the hands either side of the thigh, and without bending the knee, let's see if we can breathe that thigh a little closer to the chest. Press a little more keenly through the heel. Then release the hands from the side of the thigh, replace them either side of the hips. Keep that core engagement, float the right thigh down until it's on the same parallel as the left knee. Use the big toe to draw 3 circles in towards the midline of the body. Change direction, take those circles the opposite way. Bring the foot again to flexion, engage the core, lower the heel down and rest that heel an inch from the floor. Use the heel now to draw 3 wide circles, so we feel this action right into the hip socket. We'll change direction, take those circles the opposite way, switching on the inner thigh, easing out the outer thigh. Bring that heel to rest an inch from the floor. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. Keep the backs of the hands an inch from the mat as you point through fingers and toes. Lovely long length through the body here. Now draw the thumbs together to create an interlock. Bring that right foot back into flexion. On an exhale, squeeze the upper body over to the left side, keeping the back of the shoulders nicely relaxed to the floor, creating a banana stretch here to open into the side of the right waist, rib cage, into the underarm. Inhale again to return to centre. Lengthen by pointing through fingers and toes. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. We're curling up the upper body, bending the knee in towards the chest, a little crunch, then inhaling, lengthening back. Exhaling, little crunch here. Inhaling, lengthening back. One more little upper body lifted crunch, so we're active. Take hold either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Lift the shoulders from the floor. Feel that core engagement. Soften the neck. Then gently roll through the spine, lowering the back of the head to the floor, resetting the right foot to the mat. Let the tummy now completely soften. Rest the hands again either side of the hips. Inhale now to lift and lengthen through the left leg. So again, we're mobilising the ankle, inhaling to point, exhaling to flex. As you come to this next flexion, press a little more through the heel. Try to iron out the bend in the knee and use the hands to draw the thigh a little closer to the chest. We're careful not to lift the bottom from the floor. We're just pressing through the heel to deepen that stretch. Keep that engagement through the thigh. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. Take the hands away from the thigh and slide the thigh down until both thighs are level again. Use the big toe to draw 3 circles in towards the midline of the body. Change direction, take those circles the opposite way. Then bring the foot again to flexion. As you exhale, lower that heel down, and we're going to keep mindful of that little inch from the floor, the foot remaining in flexion, as we draw those 3 wide circles. Let's change direction, take those circles the opposite way. Once more, we're resting the heel from the floor. Inhaling now to lift the arms overhead, pointing through fingers and toes. So we've still got that little inch gap under the heel, under the hands. As you exhale, start by drawing the tummy button in, lifting the shoulders from the mat, crunching the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, that one further crunch. A little bit of added bonus here as we place the hands either behind the thigh or onto the shin, as we really activate that crunch. Then gently roll down through the spine. Placing now that left ankle on top of the right knee. A moment here while you roll the left knee in so that it lines up with the nose rather than leaning out to the side. Hands again either side of the hips. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. Inhale, lift the right foot from the floor. As you breathe out, squeeze that right knee in towards the chest. So we're using the strength of the right leg to just gently develop a deeper stretch to the outside of the left hip. When you're ready, replace that foot to the floor. Unhook the left foot. Simply transition to the opposite side. So remember, there's a moment where you want to align that right knee in again. Exhale to engage the core, filling that gap in the lower back. Inhaling to lift the left knee. Exhale to squeeze the knee in. Fine-tuning that little stretch to the outside of the hips. When you feel ready, replace that left foot to the floor. Unhook the right foot. Let's go for the feet a little wider here. So we're going to take the feet as wide as the edges of the mat, keeping the hips and the shoulders in the same plane. And we'll take the arms wide, palms turned up towards the ceiling. On an out-breath, roll both knees to the right side. We're trying to keep that left hip on the floor, so allow the knee to travel, avoid lifting the bottom. Wide through the chest on an inhale. On the exhale, roll the knees through centre, all the way to the left side. We generally find one side is a little tighter than the other, so we're just going to repeat this 2 or 3 times, just working with the rhythm of your breath, transitioning from one side to the other, breathing into the areas that feel tight, creating a little bit of space around the hips. And we'll return the knees back to centre. We'll reset the feet hip-width distance apart. We'll bring the hands again either side of the hips, shoulder blades drawn together so we can feel the weight of the upper body against the shoulders. Then push down into the soles of the feet and lift the bottom from the mat. So a nice, easy, supported bridge pose. Plenty of space under the shoulders, lots of support under the soles of the feet, avoiding the knees rolling out. So line up the knees with the hips. Inhale to press the shins forward, lift the thighs higher. Keep opening as you draw the sternum up towards the chin, widening through the chest. To release this lift, start at the space between the shoulder blades and gently roll down through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. We're not in any rush here. We want to feel that joyful release through the middle back, into the lower back, and then that magic moment when we allow the back of the hips to fully sink into the floor. Wide through the chest on an inhale. On an exhale, lift both feet from the mat. We're going to position the knees directly above the hips. We're going to bring the hands directly above the shoulders. So you effectively look like an upside down table here. Let's have the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And we're mindful of that little natural lift in the lower back. Just practice every out breath, drawing the tummy button in, rolling that space in the lower back to the floor. Every in-breath, widening through the chest, softening the shoulders back and down. As you come to the next exhalation, let's slide the arms back. Once more, we're aiming to keep the thumbs an inch from the floor. And you'll notice the weight of both arms creates a little bit more tension in the upper abdominals. Remain wide and soft here, exhaling to engage the core as you slide the hands back again to centre. Now we'll keep the left knee bent as we extend the right heel forward and down, resting an inch from the floor. Wide through the chest, exhaling to engage the core, slide the knee back to centre. On the next out breath, take the left leg forward and down, resting the heel an inch from the mat. Bring that knee back to centre. And let's just gift ourselves a little moment to hug the knees in towards the chest. If it pleases you, you can do that gentle rock through the back of the hips, particularly if your lower back is starting to grumble a little. Let's return once more to that reverse table position, so knees above hips, toes pointing up, wrists above the shoulders, shoulder blades flat to the floor. So this time we'll take the right leg forward and down, but we'll also take the left arm back. So opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're keeping that little bit of clearance, that heel an inch from the floor, that right leg fully lengthened. You can try a little pulse here, lifting the heel and the hand to a count of 3, 2, and 1. Let's go again. 3, 2, and 1. One more time. 3, 2, and 1. Take your time to slide the knee back to centre, the arm back to centre. Then we'll transition, we'll take the opposite leg forward, the opposite arm back. Keep that little thumb and heel distance of 1 inch. Then come into the pulse, 3, 2, 1. Pause, 3, 2, 1. One more set, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knee, the arm back to centre, hug both knees in. Again, that little rock and roll from one side to the other just helps to release any tension here. As you return to centre, hands are still on the knees. We're just going to draw little circles with the knees. So we're back into softening in the hips, changing direction, taking those knees the opposite way. Then returning once more to replacing both feet on the mat. So heels in line with the hips again, rather than that wide posture. We'll come again to that T-shaped position in the arms. On the out breath, we're rolling the knees to the right side, this time allowing the left buttock to lift from the floor, feeling the weight of the knees fall to the right as you turn your gaze over the left arm. Take the breath to wherever there feels to be tight. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll the knees through centre, bring the head back through centre, then exhale to take the knees to the left, looking along the length of the right arm. Wide through the chest. Take care not to be clenching the jaw, not to be frowning. Then work with the breath again to your own pace as we just take a moment to almost windscreen wipe those knees from one side all the way to the other. If it helps you to keep the shoulders on the floor, use that method of rolling the back of the head to look over each opposite shoulder. We'll do one more. Then return again to centre. So there's two variations on the next posture we're going to do. We're going to do a supine Dandasana. And Dandasana, when we do it in a seated position, is where the legs are really straight and the spine is straight. So ideally we want to lift the feet up, straighten the back of the legs, pressing the heels up towards the ceiling. For most of us, that's a little bit challenging on the lower back. So there is the option to slide the hands under the fleshy part of the bottom, just for a little bit of extra support, pressing through the heel, widening through the chest. And just to distract us from that tension through the back of the legs, inhale to point both toes, exhale to flex. Inhale to point, exhale to flex. One more time, we'll come to full flexion. Let's try to maintain a little gap between the thighs, between the ankles. Keep pushing through the heels. Beautiful. Then on the out breath, let's hug the knees once more to the chest. I like to draw a little figure of 8 through the back of the hips. It just really creates almost like a massaging action into the lower back. Return again to centre. We're going to extend both legs straight up again. My suggestion this time is to avoid putting the hands under the bottom because there's a little bit of movement will happen. So we're placing the heels hip width distance apart, bringing the feet to flexion. On the out breath, we'll start with the right leg, and rather than taking it down, we're going to take it over to the right side. So lower it down to a count of 3, 2, and 1. Press through the heel. Keep the core engaged, take your time, have a little bit of pace as we come 3, 2, and 1 back to centre. Let's do the same with the left leg, nice and controlled. 3, 2, and 1, back to centre. 3, 2, and 1. Let's keep the faith. We'll do both legs together. 3, 2, and 1. Come back to centre. 3, 2, and 1. One more time with both legs wide. 3, 2, 1. Pause here. Let's do a little pulse here. So gently lifting the heels, tiny inch, 3, 2, 1. Then take your time all the way back to centre, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, hug those knees in towards the chest. Widen the arms to that T shape again. As you exhale, roll both knees over to the right side.
Take your gaze over the left arm. The only thing to focus on here is breathing the left shoulder to the floor. So not only do you get that delicious release through the middle back, to the outside of the buttock and the hip, but you also get that lovely opening at the pectoral muscles into the left armpit. Just allow the lower body to soften into this space. There's no effort, it's a release, a letting go. Inhale to visualize breathing from fingertip to fingertip. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll the knees through center, take them all the way to the opposite side. And then again, just chill into this posture. It might help to look over the right arm to keep that right shoulder weighted to the floor. There's no resistance here. It's just about easing into the breath and letting go. Now wide through the chest, engage the core, roll the knees back again to center. Hug the knees again in towards the chest. Then rather than any sudden movements, let's replace the feet to the floor. We're going to take a moment to roll to one side, left side if you have low blood pressure, and then bring ourselves up into an all fours position. Your hips are going to feel really wide after tonight. But I think I've done a few extra tummies. I mean, I shouldn't judge and I shouldn't project what I'm going to do, but I'm wondering if that might be helpful before we eat all the chocolate on Sunday. Just a suggestion, I don't know. Because I'm telling you, you won't be able to do it after Sunday. I'm just getting a little warm in my home here. So let's come on to an all fours position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, sliding the right foot back, turning that toe under and aiming to get that heel to the floor. That feels really tight in the calf. We've loosened the hamstrings, we've worked in and around the hips, but the lower leg still feels quite tight. Let's slide that knee in, take the opposite foot back. We're just working gently by increment, easing the heel to the floor. Then bring that knee back in. Opposite action, walk the hands forward. Almost as though you're sticking the palms to the mat, so you want to feel that connection underneath each individual finger. Let's try to remain long in the arms without locking the elbows out. Push the sit bones back and bring the ears to rest between the upper arms. So we're feeling this through the length of the arms, through the spine, pressing through the sit bones to encourage a little more stretch. Then lower the forearms to the floor, slide the chest forward, thighs back. Keep the thighs connected to the floor. Inhale to lift the chest, coming into a Sphinx pose. On an out breath, turn and look over one shoulder. On an in breath, look ahead. Exhale to look over the other shoulder. Inhale again to look ahead. On an out breath, lower the forehead all the way to the floor. Rest the forehead on the mat as you extend the arms forward again. So the hands now are probably off the mat. Again, we want to feel that the ears are between the upper arms. Think about softening the buttocks, anchoring the thighs to the mat, pushing into the palms of the hands and lifting the chest. So this one's slightly different, it's called seal pose. So rather than having the forearms on the floor, rather than arching the back, we're using that strength in the shoulders to lift the chest. Then as you exhale, release. Bring the forehead again to the mat. Reposition the hands either side of the chest. So for this next posture, we're coming into a more exaggerated back bend. So for anyone that prefers to keep it low, just repeat the Sphinx pose. If you wish, you can bring the elbows in towards the rib cage, push into the palms, push into the thighs, inhale, lift the chest. Keep those shoulders relaxed, avoid locking the elbows out. Breathe through the length of the spine, lifting the sternum. Then as you exhale, engage the core. Gently press back into a child's pose. Rather than lengthening the arms, let's allow those forearms to come to the floor. Push the sit bones back. Bring the hands into fists underneath the forehead, one stacked on top of the other. And just allow for a moment here to soften the lower back, to release the spine. And return once more to your all fours position. Perfect. So wrists again under shoulders, knees under hips. Turn both toes under, push the sit bones back. We're going to lift the knees, but keep the knees bent. So in a perfect world, we might be able to walk the feet forward. We might be able to press the heels towards the floor, keeping the knees bent. And then pushing away from the hands, lift the tailbone. The knees still remain bent, but there's a very different stretch happening around the ankles into that lower area of the calf. Now bend the knees, ease forward, bring the hands either side of the hips, either side of the ankles, and allow the forehead to gently release forward. Doesn't matter if the forehead doesn't hit the mat. It's again just about finding a little bit of space into the spine, releasing the shoulders. Then bringing the hands once more under the shoulders, lifting up again into that all fours position. Turning the toes under, pushing the sit bones back, lifting up into what feels more like a traditional downward facing dog. So we know enough to know that if we bring the shoulders forward over the wrists, that's going to get very tiring. So push the sit bones back, create a diagonal line from the wrist through the shoulder to the hip. If, like me, you can't get the heels to the floor, gently bend one knee, then the other, as you almost paddle through the feet, lengthening the heels to the mat. Find a point when you can perhaps release both heels to the mat, lift the tailbone, push away from the wrists, then on and out breath, bend the knee, sit back on the heels. Once more bringing the wrists either side of the ankles, and if you feel that you've been holding yourself up for a while, just turn little circles with the wrists. Take any tension away here. Now we're going to bring ourselves back up to an upright position again. So all fours is good. We're going to step both feet back, turn the toes under, create again a diagonal line, this time from the back of the head, through the shoulder blades, to the back of the hips, all the way to the heels into our plank pose. Let's just practice our little dismount. So from plank, come down onto the knees, the chest, the chin, the bottom is up, the elbows are in towards the rib cage. Inhale, lift the chest forward, come into that cobra pose again. Exhale, push back. Rest for a moment in child's pose. Beautiful. We'll do one further little sequence, and then because I started you differently, I'll give you a slightly longer Shavasana. We're a little bit more active from the start. So once more, we'll come into our plank position. Take a moment to lower the right knee to the floor, then lift that knee, lower the left knee to the floor, Then again, lift. Then lower down, knees, chest, chin, elbows in. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, turn the toes under. Push up into your downward facing dog. We're going to hold here for 5 full breaths. So inhale, press and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, breathe down through the heels. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, grounding the feet to the floor. Third full breath rotation. Exhale. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Last breath rotation. Exhaling to fully release. Take a further deep breath in. On your exhale, lower down. Come into a child's pose. Your choice whether the hands are back at the ankles, rolling those little circles, or if your preference is to support the head and allow the spine to release. Again, we'll spend 5 full breaths here, just to bring ourselves back into balance, into alignment, to being upside down. Now, the bit that I know that you've all been truly waiting for, we can come into our Shavasana. So if you think there's a chance that the room that you're in might get a little chilly, by all means pull on a blanket, socks, an extra layer. And you make your choice, whether your preference is to remain seated or to lie in Shavasana position. I've got a little bit of hiccups now that I've been upside down. If you choose to lie in corpse pose in Shavasana, consider whether you prefer to extend the legs, widening the hands and the feet, equal distance from the midline of the body. Or if you prefer to bend the knees to allow that little bit of extra support for the lower back. An invitation once more to close the eyes or soften the gaze. And set an intention that for these rare few moments of quiet and calm, that you won't visit your to-do list. If it helps you, you could visually stick a pin in that to-do list, push it to one side, and bring your full awareness to observing how you've chosen to hold your body here. Notice the way you have arranged your body against the floor. Visualize in your mind's eye how your body looks in the room around you, almost as though you're above yourself, looking down, observing without judgment the exact position of your body. A little reminder here to unclench the jaw, to relax the tongue in the well of the mouth, to soften the cheeks, the chin, the eyebrows. If you imagine all the muscles of the face softening, if you allow your hairline to drift backwards, and sense that the back of your head is easing a little more deeply into the space beneath you or behind you.
Think about the effect the weight of your head has on your neck. And if you need to adjust, perhaps gently draw the chin a little closer to the chest. And find that soft, neutral position for the neck, releasing any tension here. Now focus on the breath at the tip of the nose. Feel the cool air on the breath in, the warm air on the breath out. And as we return to that deepened, lengthened breath, take that inhale a little deeper to widen and expand into the lungs and the ribcage. Feel that exhale, emptying the lungs fully, softening the throat centre, warm along the length of the nasal passages. Inhaling to expand, widen, take up space. Exhaling to soften, release any tension in the body. Now with this deepened, lengthened breath, take your time to send the breath to any part of the body that may be asking for a little extra healing. You may be aware of pain or limitation in the body. Perhaps you have a part of the body where tension or stress manifests for you. You may feel a weight in your chest as you carry emotional pain. Work with the breath to expand, to invite positive energy. Then as you exhale, release that pain. Let go of that tension. You really are your own best healer. Lean into your intuition. Work with the breath. Filling your body with prana, with positive energy. Letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. Imagine you can take this breath further into the body, beyond the constraints of the lungs, the ribcage. Feel yourself breathing into the belly, expanding and widening on the inhale, unclenching, releasing any tension on the exhale. We worked a lot with the hips this evening, so visualize that you can send your breath in and around the hip sockets. With every exhalation, allow the hips to release fully. Perhaps you want to send a loving, energizing breath to the thighs. As you exhale, any tension here softens and releases. You might like to spend a little bit of attention in and around the knee joints. We work hard for us every day. Send that breath down through the length of the calves, the shins. Feel the breath in around the ankles. As you come to your next inhalation, feel that you're directing your breath all the way down through the lengths of the legs, over the tops of the feet. As you exhale, breathe out through the soles of the feet. Reverse by inhaling through the soles of the feet, drawing that positive energy up through the length of the legs. Carry on through the length of the spine, along the back of the neck, the top of the head. Exhale to breathe through the top of the head. Visualize a bright golden light above the top of your head. Inhale to breathe that energy through the full length of your body, down through the length of your spine, both of your legs, and out through the soles of the feet. Another deep breath in, drawing that energy up through the full length of your body. Almost like a steam. Let go of any tension through the top of your head. Then once more visualize that golden light showering down through the top of your head. This time taking a moment to pause over heart center. Feel that golden light expand through your heart, over your chest. Feel that light travel down through the length of your arms. Feel the energy of that golden light in the palms of your hands. You might notice the palms of your hands becoming warmer. Send your next inhalation to cool the palms down. Your next exhalation to send your positive energy, your love, out into the world. Draw that love back in through the palms of your hands. Return that love to your heart center. This time as you exhale, feel the wide muscles of the back soften and release their grip on your spine. And return your awareness to the breath entering the lungs. Then leaving the lungs. Allow your breath to become a little noisier, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. Now allow your breath to return to a natural, easy rhythm. Allow a little gap between the teeth, the jaw soft, and use the tip of your tongue now to find each individual tooth all the way along the top set of teeth. All the way along the bottom row of teeth. Bring your tongue again to rest in center, and remembering that no one is watching, I want you to start chewing imaginary gum, making as much noise as you need to, opening your mouth. mobilizing the jaw, changing direction, chewing that gum almost like a cow chewing the cud, massaging the vagus nerve. Now allow the jaw to rest and bring your full awareness again to noticing the weight of your body against the floor, to becoming aware once more of exactly how you've chosen to position your body. We'll begin now to return sensation, wiggling fingers and toes, perhaps taking a long stretch through the body. If you prefer, hugging the knees to the chest. Taking your time now to roll to one side, pausing to blink the eyes open. Then returning to a comfortable, seated position. Now bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste. Oh, what beautiful energy. You all look a bit squashy now, which is the way I like you at the end of a class. I don't mind working you hard at the beginning.